and welcome to 4,000 and Counting. I am Watty, and this is an episode that I did not want to be recording today or any day. Said I wasn't going to put an episode out this week. Stay tuned, and I'll tell you for why. But before I get to that, obviously, I want to start this episode with paying my condolences to the Johnson family. We tragically lost Adam Johnson in an accident at the weekend between the Sheffield Steelers and the Nottingham Panthers in the Challenge Cup at the Utility Arena. Sadly, Adam took a skate to the throat and succumbed to his injuries. We send our heartfelt condolences on behalf of myself, Mark, Graham, and everyone at 4,000 and Counting to his family, to his fiance Ryan. Obviously, to all the boys that were on the ice, to the Panthers, to the Steelers. Can't imagine what you boys saw, what you boys are going through. Absolutely awful for all of you. To the first responders, the paramedics, the doctors, the trauma nurses, the team doctors, the team physios, the referees, the linesmen, everybody that was firsthand right there, right on top of it. Our thoughts are with you guys as well. That's got to be a very, very traumatic experience for you to go through. And you guys really did your best. You had great effort. I believe Rick Strang put a tweet out that I saw, and that said that even a fully prepared trauma team would have struggled. So you guys on the spot did a fantastic job. You were chucked into the worst possible scenario. And we had a very, very unfortunate outcome. I feel so bad for Adam. What an ice hockey player, what a career, tragically cut short on something that it really is one in a million. We've seen lots of ice hockey games over the world over the years. We've seen lots of close calls, and we've seen very, very, very close calls. But this is the first one in my kind of lifetime in UK hockey experiencing it, and it's a tough one for the entire community. Finally, the fans, you guys that were watching on stream, yeah, wow, I really feel for you. I was unfortunate enough to have seen the video, and I can't imagine what it would have been there to be on the ice or to be there rinkside. It must have been absolutely horrific. So we're thinking of all of you. Our DMs are open for genuine people that are upset or perhaps need to reach out. But as promised before, I did say that I wasn't going to do an episode this week, and I did say if you stuck with me, I'll tell you for why. Now I will tell you for why, because the treatment I've seen Matt Petgrave get in the last 72 hours is fucking horrific. Like, I can't explain to you. It's absolutely disgusting. People are despicable. Honest, like some of the things that have been said. Before we get right into that, just to let you know real quick, there'll be no episode between myself and Shane Moore this week. That is being postponed. It will be back, but it's not going to be this week. As I said, I didn't even want to do this video this week, but the disgraceful actions of not only what started off as it seemed like bot accounts and troll accounts has basically spread into the wider public. I'm going to get into some of the things that I've seen over the last couple of days that have really fucking pissed me off. But just as a whole, like, some of the treatment Matt's got has been, I can't explain how bad it's been. From calling him a murderer to saying that he should be going to jail for manslaughter, to bring in the color of his skin in. I don't know what that's got to do with the price of fish. You know, like, it's an ice hockey player that went wrong. It was not a black on white. It wasn't a Canadian on American. All these pages that are tweeting and going across social media in all of the comments section. For God's sake, I saw one in his grieving fiance's posts. Like, how low do you have to be? I don't understand what sort of fucking piece of shit you actually are. I was talking to a client about this earlier, and I was saying I can't get my head around it. I really can't get my head around it. And he said to me, that's because you're a sane person. Yeah, like, you have to be differently tapped. I've always heard Joe Rogan about, don't read the comments. Don't read the comments. And wow, was he right? Because obviously we don't get to see it over here. Our political system's a little bit different, but these are all the political people making accounts. I seen a Justice for Adam Johnson account today. It had 229 tweets. They're all in the last 48 hours. The account was made 48 hours ago. Like, it's horrific what's actually going on. But in amongst the trolls and the assholes, we've had hockey players come out. Dan Carcillo, first of all on X, then on Instagram, and then today on YouTube. And you know, it's kind of got less bad as he's gone on, but the first couple that came out, yeah, they were tough to watch. He essentially says that Matt intentionally makes contact. Now, I disagree with that opinion. I believe that when Matt comes across the ice, he makes contact with the initial Panthers player that causes him to lose his edge and kind of somersault up in the air, which unfortunately caught Adam, and even more unfortunately, it caught him in the throat. I mean, I've seen skates come up. This is the other thing, like, people talking about Petgrave's skate coming up in a previous video. I saw the video. It's from an OHL hit. He cuts across the ice. He goes to make the hit. The lad kind of goes in front of him and they spin, and his foot comes a tiny bit off the ice. Guess what? It's a collision sport. And all you fucking wankers that are in the comments that haven't actually played this collision sport, or worse still, these ones are the ones that get me the worst. I'm Canadian. I've been playing for 47 years. No, you haven't. Men's league don't fucking count. Unless you've been skating at a professional level and they are skating at that speed with that power, the balance, the physical attributes of an athlete. Not you playing in men's league against Bob from The Office. It's not the same thing. It is not the same thing. So you do not understand. I'm sorry if that is straight down the middle and a bit fucking, but I've read so much bullshit the last few days. I'm done. I can't imagine how Matt's feeling. I've had Matt on the podcast. I've interviewed him. I've spoke to him personally. He's a very, very nice guy. You just have to look at how many photos Matt's in with, you know, Sheffield fans, the juniors, the kids. They all want their picture of Matt Petgrave, and guess what? He stops. He takes that picture. For people to say that he went out with malicious intent and tried to purposely injure, let alone kill, injure or kill. How did your brain get to that? He did not do that. He was in an ice hockey play. He's reading the play. There's two guys coming. His D partner's there. He goes to close the gap. And the unfortunate incident happens. Now, I talked about Dan Carcillo. He said there was a little bit intent. Obviously, he said there was no intent to kick him high, but it was just like he fueled in the fire a little bit with everybody. He did, at least today, have something to say about Matt on the positive side. But I mean, a lot of damage is already done. I know Mark called him out on X, and to be fair to Carsey, he messaged back. He explained himself. Mark went at him again, and he explained himself again. But we've had that. Then we had ex-NHLer Chris Terrian saying it's a bush league, and that he kung fu kicked him in the head. How's a guy with a fucking 12 years in the NHL coming out with that bullshit? Like, seriously. I don't understand his angle. I said, I tweeted him back. I said, Bush League, that's an NHL player, a guy that played in the NHL in 2019, like not long ago, and an AHL player. It could have happened. It could have happened at home. This is what I don't understand. This could have happened in Sweden, Slovakia. It could have literally happened anywhere. It is the most crazy, unfortunate accident, and it is an accident. We had Sean Avery going on Fox News, and his isn't quite as bad, but he talks about the intent to make contact. Now, I've spoke about this before on the podcast, obviously not about this scenario, but You know, maybe you go to hit a guy, you know, you've committed to going to hit him, and then he moves out the last second, and that's why you sometimes see maybe a knee on knee hit, or maybe an elbow comes up, something, because you're trying to get a piece of him. So from my perception of what Sean was talking about, he doesn't seem to think the initial contact with the Panthers player has caused as much kick up as he has. He believes that Matt, and this is where we differ, he believes that Matt tries to get something on him. I'm of the opinion that the initial contacts caused Matt to lose an edge and lose his legs. Now there's been a lot of very biased bullshit going on, and sadly a lot of it is to do with the color of Matt's skin, because he's a black guy. Like, that should genuinely make no difference, but I can see from the tweets, the comments, and I was never going to make a video about this. The tweets and the comments, they're easy enough to report and block, but it wasn't until I woke up this morning, and a guy that I follow for, you know, he does American politics and a few other bits and pieces, but Timcast, he did a breakdown this morning, so I click on it because I sometimes watch his videos. And he basically just goes on and he tells a story that Matt Petgrave essentially kicks him in the head on purpose and breaks down what different murder charges he should be facing. Now, this guy's got a huge platform. I'm talking like millions of followers. I believe the video had like 160,000 views this morning when I got up. And I go into the comment section, and it's an echo chamber. Every single person in that comment's agreeing with him, but they're all like no-name fucking pricks behind a fucking screen name with some bullshit picture of some bullshit dog that's not even theirs, and it's spiraling. Matt's had to delete his Instagram and stuff like that. Like, I would imagine his ex is next to go, and anything in between. Everybody should be rallying around Matt Petgrave. Like, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying they're not. The people that matter are the people that matter. The Sheffield Steelers, the organization, the Nottingham Panthers and their organization, and not just Matt, everybody else that was there. Everybody else that there's, but especially Matt, because the way this has gone on and the way this has progressed, never in my wildest dreams that I've seen it go this way. For those that are interested in a different kind of breakdown, there's another guy that I follow, Dr. Brian Sutter, MD. He normally does stuff about concussion and fight sports and stuff like that, but he put a video out this morning. He has some interesting things to say about net guards and some studies that have been done. I'm not going to talk about net guards today, other than the fact that the EIHA and SIHA have brought mandatory net guards in. We will do a video about that, but this is not what today's about. Weston Michaud and Victor Bjorklund, two of the Panthers players. Now, I'm going to go and... So, Weston says, one of two on his ex. I need to address something about the accident. We wholeheartedly stand with Matt Petgrave. The hate that Matt is receiving is terrible and completely uncalled for. I was at ice level on the bench closest to the accident. I saw both players moving fast. The unintentional clip of the Panthers player's leg by the Sheffield player caused a somersault. It's clear to me his actions were unintentional, and anyone suggesting otherwise is mistaken. Let's come together and not spread unwarranted hate to someone that needs the support. I mean, wow, brave. Very brave for him to come out and say that. Fucking right, it's good lad. That's a good lad right there. Not only him. As I said, Victor came out and said, word, heart, fist emoji. Enough is enough. We stand with Petgrave. I've seen it on some Panthers players' posts. I've seen it on some Steelers players' posts on their like personal Instagrams. It's ridiculous. I know the daily EIHL I mean, we spoke a couple of times via text, but they put a post out that's gone majorly viral, and for very good reason. I'm going to read it to you. Sorry, I'm just trying to find it right now. I don't want to butcher that either. We had to put a post out on our 2 days running. Like, it's incredible. To be fair, it's starting to settle down a little bit this evening, but it's been horrific for this entire week. Yeah, so the Daily IHL. We stand with Matthew Petgrave. Sorry, let's try that again. We stand with Matt Petgrave in this tragic period of time for him. As our post reporting the devastating loss of Adam Johnson gained a reach of accounts we have never experienced and likely never will again, it has come with it being used to share opinions of Matt Petgrave that we greatly condemn. If you blame the player for a freak accident, do not voice that opinion on our account, nor use our announcement to speak about your disgusting agenda. I mean, even the Nottingham Panthers shared that, and we had to put a post out yesterday. I won't read that out because I didn't quite go down as nice of a route as that. But the long and the short of it is, you know, if you're going to be a racist piece of shit, just we'll block you from 4,000 account. We're not interested in that. And we do stand with Matt because this is probably the toughest time in his entire life. I spoke to the guy. He's a good guy. You just it can't explain what a tragic incident this is, but the intent was never there. And, you know, well-respected NHL journalists sharing that there's a police investigation. Of course there is. Standard procedure. Why don't you start with that instead of your clickbait fucking bullshit? Like, yeah, it's a standard procedure. A 29-year-old male athlete died in front of 8,000 to 9,000 people in a purely accidental circumstance during a sport. They have to look into it. They have to. That doesn't mean that there's manslaughter charges. That doesn't mean that there's murder charges. Nothing of the sort. They have to do their due diligence. I actually saw one very sensible piece today, and it came from a barrister who basically says there's no malicious intent there. It's not possible to give him a manslaughter charge. So the people that are talking about manslaughter, you're fucking off your nut. I don't understand what you get out of it either. Like, you don't know Adam Johnson. You couldn't give a shit about Adam Johnson. This is the sad thing. Like, we have a community that's hurting right now. Everybody from top to bottom, from kids that were never there but have heard about it. I saw Basingstoke Juniors doing stick taps on the 47-minute today. I've seen it transcend across the entire country. The people that were there as well, like, they had kids that have been back on the ice. This is a huge community thing, and it seems to be getting targeted by, I would say North American, but it's actually just American posts. The UK hasn't been as bad. What I have noticed in the UK is all of a sudden people that were never talking about ice hockey now have something to say about ice hockey and asking questions. And their questions I have been asked twice today. Did he do it on purpose? I was like, are you smoking crack? No, he didn't fucking do it on purpose. Like, I don't understand where you're coming from. And it's because they don't understand. But guess what? They've been reading all the bullshit, all the hate, all the just fucking horrible people out there. Like, there's some really horrible pieces of shit out there. Like, that I can't even believe they try to hijack a situation like this for I don't know. I don't know why they're trying to do it. Even if you believed that for 1 minute that it was reckless, okay, maybe it was reckless. Should his leg have been that high up? No, it shouldn't. But guess what? It does happen, and it's happened to me. I have a scar on my chin there from a skate blade. It wasn't the guy's fault. He got hit in front of me, and his leg came up, and luckily I put my chin down. I saw it coming. Adam was unfortunate. Like Harvey Stead, I think he took one like this side of his neck last year. There was a serious wound there. Players take skates to body parts a lot, more than fans would ever realize. And this situation's just brought it right front and center because of the tragic outcome. But let it be known, like, ice hockey players get the steals they use are different now. These things are razor sharp, razor sharp, and people fall over. There's a brilliant thread on Twitter. I don't know how to say the name, so I'm just going to spell it. So it's like meow, so MEOW, and then Fiala, FIALA. And it is a thread showing hits, missed hits, trips, maybe falls, stuff where there's no guys anywhere near anybody. And it all results in very similar motions to the leg coming up in the air and ultimately ending up at head height. Now, as I said, I've had one in the chin. If anybody remembers the EPL days for the UK hockey fan base, it was Slough versus Manchester, and Harrobin had his wrist skated over. Now, for those that were there, remember, my brother was playing for Slough. Harrobin was playing for Manchester, but it happened, and I don't know if anybody else noticed other than Ryan, who was on the bench. Now, Ryan jumped onto the ice and grabbed Harrobin's arm, applied pressure, and put it above his head. That went a long way to saving that man's life that day. It shows that it does happen. Yesterday, in the Czech second division, a skate came up, grazed the guy's nose, grazed off his eyebrow. He had a visor on. Like, it can happen. I think Dave Cloutman, let me actually read this, sorry. Dave Cloutman, he put a post out. This guy's refed like a fucking million games. He's been right there. He's seen it. He's been there. He's done it. Oh, so he shared that actual link to the person I was just talking about, Meow Feeler. Dave said, for idiots say you can't lose an edge or like clip could cause the reaction that happened. It definitely can. You saw from what they've said today from the Nottingham Panthers boys that they stand with Matt. They don't think there was any intent. They were at ice level. They talk about how fast they go. I mean, everybody on the videos for a start has been breaking it down. They say the guy in the red shirt, it's just Sheffield Steelers, so it's going to be orange. Like, just little details. The video quality that's been flying around, it's not great, and I don't wish to see a better one. I really don't. And I've had friends text me today saying, "Have you seen the video?" That had nothing to do with hockey, and I've said, "Yes, don't watch it." I've said to them, "Don't watch it." And while we're on not watching videos, unfortunately, I have to because of this thing. And not that I had a choice, it actually came through my profile before I even had an opportunity to stop it, which was brutal. But obviously I would have had to watch it for this. One thing that I didn't need to do was see Bob Westerdale posting a fucking photograph of the scene on the ice. I didn't need to see that. The people that were in the arena didn't need to see that. The boys that were playing didn't need to see that. Adam's family and friends didn't need to see that. Pete Spencer put the exact same tweet out, essentially, without the photograph. Then for him to double down on it and not really apologize and kind of make it about himself. I don't know. I'll talk about that in another video as well. But they just kind of came across there. There has been some nice bits though. Like, there has been some good people. The Pittsburgh Penguins organization. They shared a video yesterday that got me. Adam Johnson scored his first NHL goal in his home state of Minnesota, and he gets the fireman's helmet from Sidney Crosby. Now, if that's not fucking like a hockey moment for unbelievable, they go on to wear the decals on the helmets. They stand around the circle, I believe, with the Ducks. Forgive me if I'm wrong. They pay just tributes from guys that have played with him. and everybody said he's the nicest guy. He's got a smile on his face. He's the smoothest skater. Like, everybody had good things to say, whether they played with him in college or whether they played with him in the AHL or whether they played with the Penguins or in Europe. Everybody had real nice things to say. The Panthers boys had real nice things to say about Adam. These videos don't get easier. I've had to do Pisey, Alex Graham, Mike Hammond, and that's all just in about 9 months here. No, about a year. Pisey was a year ago. God, that's gone fast. They never get easier. This one is one I never thought I would make. You know, people die. People do die. But I never thought for a second it would be on the ice for this reason. Now, I did say we'd touch on net guards in another video, but an idea we've proposed, spoke as a podcast, put it out there, that obviously the EIHA and the SIH, Scottish Ice Hockey Association, have both announced that they're going to mandate net guards as of December 31st. I know all the suppliers in the UK, all the hockey shops are working their asses off to get net guards in. And I obviously spoke to a lot of pro guys that will be wearing them regardless. Even some guys in the elite league, guys in Europe as well. So net guards will be coming in, but we propose that would be called the Johnson law. No, it's gonna change the sport forever. I tweeted someone back yesterday, and they had a good point. They was like, why don't they name a trophy or a cup or something after them? And my answer was, this will transcend hockey. It will, if it goes into Europe, which I suspect it will, it goes to the elite league. We've already seen Team GB, Ice Hockey UK, have put it out that their guys will be wearing them from top to bottom. It could very well become a practice that we see a net guard introduced. Now, that would be the biggest thing in hockey introduction equipment wise since the helmet. And I can't think of something bigger than that to name him. And it'll be part of his legacy. And that's not my words. I believe who put that out there today. Forgive me. I've seen so many tweets today. But one of the clubs said, I think it might be Invicta actually. Invicta said this will be his legacy. And his legacy could go on to save lives, countless lives. Now, we never thought it would happen with Adam. We don't know what happens in the future. We can't foresee the future. But what we can do is give ourselves a little chance. And whether that net guard would have saved Adam or not, I do not know. I am not qualified to make that judgment. But if something good can come from this, and lots of good has come from it already. I talked about, the Penguins doing their thing. The Ontario Rain tribute was phenomenal. Seeing Doughty, former Panthers man, skate his number 49 out and put it on the chair there, centre ice, and they dedicate their first star to him. And all the Ontario Rain boys that had played with Adam in the 2020 to 2022 season came out and touched the jersey. That got me big time. It's moments like these where you see what people are really like. And obviously the reason for the video was to try and stop the hate on Matt a little bit and put a bit more of a balanced view out there than the right-wing fuckheads views that are out there already. But there has been some amazing things, and the floral tributes from the UK fans, the raffles, the puck designs, Willie Sports donating all the profits from net guards to a charity. Like, we're already seeing, and I hate this phrase, hockey family, because I don't always feel it is. But I feel in this situation, it's an appropriate time to use it, because we are a hockey family. And like it or not, that lumps you in with some people you're not always going to agree with. But that's part and part of family, right? And what happens at the weekend should be bringing us together, and we should be standing with Matt while supporting Adam's family and his fiance And anybody else that needs it, hopefully the troll died down a little bit. I've never seen as many tweets showing how many people have been reported and blocked. Now, I know for myself how many times I've had to do it, because I don't want any of these posts turning into that. The racism is not acceptable. The hate is not acceptable. And that doesn't just go for this. That goes for any of our posts. Like, we don't want any racism. We don't want any hate. Don't get me wrong. If someone does something that needs to be said, you can call it out. I don't have a problem with that. You know I don't. But just being a dick for the sake of being a dick, I think banners on the wall, that might be his rules of the chat. DOD. I'll probably fuck that up, but don't be a dick. Basically, don't. And if you are, go do it somewhere else. Go do somewhere else. Let Adam's family grieve. They've just had a catastrophic loss, and it's toxic for them as well. I saw today on his old college fans page, like on Facebook, UMD fans, great page. They've done a lot of really nice tributes to Adam, and they're kind of sharing a lot of the information that maybe we wouldn't see here. But they shared something. It's essentially, I think it's called Meal Train. And Meal Train is something where you can go on and donate food for the family or donate money for the family. And they had like a $2,500 target, and I think they're at $22,000. So everybody's jumped in and really supporting it, really buying in. Yet you look at the comments and you have murderer, arrest Petgrave, blah, blah, blah. Like, there's no class, and some are bot accounts, some are not. Some are regular, just horrible pieces of shit. And we're going to have to do our best in the community to rally around that. Now, whether you're an ENL2 player that might never meet Matt Petgrave, or you're a Sheffield Steeler, or you're a Cardiff Devil, everybody needs to come together. Now, what the fans have done, I said, just touched on, I keep getting sidetracked because it's a very emotive subject to talk about. Now, I keep getting sidetracked, but I want to talk about the floral tributes, the fact that every rink, pretty much, from the Motorpoint Arena to the Guildford Spectrum, to the Coventry Sky Dome, I've seen flowers outside every rink. And I've also seen a lot of people make their way over to the Motorpoint Arena and just go and read. I mean, I would love to do it if I wasn't so far away. Just go read people's thoughts and what this whole moment has meant for everybody in the sport. It's ultimately been the biggest stain on British hockey in my lifetime. It's that deep, and it's very sad. I know the Elite League have cancelled today's fixtures, tomorrow's fixtures, but they did address what's going to happen at the weekend, and we're going to have the Steelers and Panthers off, obviously, which, quite rightly, if those teams need a month off, you give them a month off. You're just in their own time, whenever they're ready. Let's not rush them. It's only a sport. Like, we can't rush these guys. They're all human beings. They have families and kids, parents. This is gonna take a very long time to get over for everybody. And those guys, they can wait until they're ready. The league did go out and approach the other 18 coaches, and they went to the table and spoke to their players and gave the players the option. Now, you can either play or you can't play. And the players want to play and dedicate their games to him at the weekend. And I do understand that, because sitting around is probably going to make it worse for everybody. Getting back out there and doing your job is hopefully going to allow some people to move on. And I'm not saying that we should move on or anything like that. I'm just saying, it could be good for people that are unsure about getting back into the rink. Maybe they go, they see their friends, they talk, they hug it out, they share the love, and just get around people again. I know that I think Sheffield and Nottingham are going to be holding a vigil this weekend, Saturday, 5:30. if you're in the area, please go pay your respects, and not only for Adam, but for everybody that went through it. I cannot imagine being a first responder on that situation. My hats really do go off to you, and then to everybody else. But that was shit. That was tough. I didn't want to do this today, but I do want to stand with Matt, and as one of the lone few voices around the UK, and 4,000 podcasts, 3 on 3 podcasts, Zero Parks, Banners on the Wall, Pucking Mad, the Macca Boys. I know there's podcasts all over the UK now, but we're vastly outnumbered when it comes to having Fox News and CNN and everybody else jumping on the bandwagon for political brownie points. I thought I'll come on and say my bit. I really do hope I haven't overstepped the mark. Apologies if I have, but I had to get it out, and I had to try and rally some defense for Matt, because the last 3 days must have been hell for him, and I don't imagine he's going to have many good days to come in the coming short space here. He should definitely get professional help. I think that would be great, and I'm sure there's no end of professionals that are willing to help him right now. And that goes for any of you that have witnessed it or been affected by it. There's lots of good. Nottingham Panthers put a fantastic post out. I believe Solway put a post out. There's lots of good people you can talk to. But for now, this has been another episode. And yeah, try to stay safe, folks.